become your own soulmate first. That was the mistake that I made the first time round, thinking that a soulmate was external to me. Hello gorgeous souls, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another one of my videos today. So this is how I manifested my fiance into my life, and this is how you can do this too during Valentine's Day and beyond. I want to share with you today my top tips and tools and the exact process that I did to manifest my now fiance, and how you can manifest love of any kind into your life too. But if you're new here to my channel, then welcome. My name is Emma. I'm an award-winning life coach, 3 times best-selling manifestation author, law of attraction YouTuber here on my channel, and I'm the host of the #1 spirituality podcast on iTunes, Aligned Abundance. And here on my channel, I cover all things manifestation, law of attraction, spirituality, and self-help. So not only do I really hope you're going to enjoy this video, but the abundance of videos on my channel over the last 10 years. So back on Valentine's Day in 2021, I manifested my now partner and fiance Alex into my life. Now, if you are a long-term subscriber here at my channel, you'll also know that I manifested my previous relationship back in 2017. And what I really want to do with this video is actually explain what I did differently in my second manifesting a relationship, what my focuses were, and what I think really led to the success of manifesting my partner into my life and my soon-to-be husband. And ironically, Valentine's Day plays an actual big part in this, so it feels the perfect time to film this video for you and for anybody who's looking to manifest love into their life this year. So how does Valentine's Day play a part in our story? So back in 2021, my best friend Hannah bought me this humongous baby Yoda toy, because we are Mandalorian fans. And it was from Build-A-Bear Factory, and it was this huge baby Yoda, like absolutely huge. And it arrived on my doorstep, I think like the day before Valentine's Day, as a lovely Valentine's Day gift. And she didn't actually tell me this at the time, but she told me afterwards that in Build-A-Bear, you can put like a heart inside the toy. And she put an intention in there of me to manifest, obviously, the love that I wanted to into my life, which is an amazing friend. And she is my maid of honor too. So I didn't actually know Hannah had done that until later on, but also the next day on Valentine's Day, so the 14th of February 2021, Luna, the other love of my life, was also born into the world, my little dachshund. And obviously at the time I didn't know she was born. I didn't even know she was going to come into my life, but I always joke that she is my forever Valentine's. And it's amazing that she was born on Valentine's Day as well. So Luna was then born. And then on the 15th of February, the very next day, so this is like a 3 days of magnetism at its finest, I then go on the dating apps that I was on and meet Alex, my now fiance. So it's so strange that all of that played out over those 3 days in Valentine's Day. And of course, Hannah takes full credit with the baby Yoda for me meeting Alex and manifesting Luna into my life. But yeah, it still feels so strange how I was doing all this work, which I'm going to share with you, doing all these tools, and it actually manifested over Valentine's Day. And during 2021, obviously it was the lockdown, so we spoke for a little bit and obviously got to know each other. Then Luna came into my life in the April, I think, obviously 8 weeks later. And then we started dating, and the rest, as they say, is history. So both Luna and Alex came into my life at the same time, and definitely were Hannah's intention in the baby Yoda, and a result of my intentions as well. I'm not just saying that Hannah has to buy everybody baby Yodas to manifest the love they want into their life. So what do I think really helped me in this process, and what would I say is an absolute non-negotiable when manifesting love? I'm going to give you a breakdown of absolutely everything I did in this process versus what I did the first time. Now, why am I referencing what I did the first time? So the first relationship that I manifested, there was a huge focus on that person being my husband and manifesting my husband into my life. Whereas actually what I did this time around with Alex was so different. And that's why I feel it powerfully worked, and I did attract the aligned love I wanted into my life. So I've got 2 really good examples of manifesting love into my life, one that worked, one that didn't. So from that, I was able to fine tune my practice and look at, okay, this is the secret to manifesting long lasting love and what I really want to share with you so you have that success too. So the very first thing that I did, that I actually did with both relationships, was write a dream relationship list. This is my absolute go-to with manifesting. Writing is definitely my manifesting superpower. So I wrote a list down of all the characteristics and all the qualities I wanted in that relationship. So in the first list, I very much was like specific of like, this is the person I'm going to marry, and they have to look like this, and they have to, it was very specific. And whilst I do think it worked, looking back on my list and now what I wrote for my list when I manifested Alex was so different, which obviously comes with experience and lived experience. But my second list was way more focused on how I wanted to feel in the relationship and the real important things to me, rather than looks, rather than commitment, rather than it having to be these expectations that I placed on it. And I allowed it to be a much more co-creative process with the universe, where I was like, I trust you have my back, universe, and these are the things that I would really love in this relationship. But actually all of those things that I mentioned the first time around, like, they're not actually that important to me, and that isn't a deal breaker. So yes, the first list I did was very focused on like height. They had to be taller than me, and I did still put that in my second list. I'm 5'11", so I did want someone who was either the same height or a little bit taller. But yes, there was things like obviously their hair color, their eye color, I think as well, actually. Very specific stuff, because that is, at the time, obviously when I was doing this in 2016, the sign of the times. So many people were doing this in the manifestation sphere. That's what I was learning. And I do think it worked, but I also think obviously I had to go through that relationship for karmic reasons, for healing, for up leveling. So absolutely I needed that relationship to learn a lot of things. But when it came to manifesting this relationship, I really looked at my dream list from a different lens and looked at it from a space of actually what didn't work the first time and what really is those core values and those soul desires from my soul that is my aligned abundance, that isn't just things that don't really matter. Like, what do I actually really want? So that was one thing I definitely did different the second time. And I actually found my list, my dream man list. And actually, ironically, my first list I called my dream husband list. This list I called my dream relationship list. So whether that made any difference, I don't know, but I did take all the pressure of it having to be a husband and just wrote words like, committed to one another and, allowing it to be what it needed to be, rather than controlling it with it has to be that or it has to look like this. So I do think that definitely helped. And I feel like my more relaxed approach to it had shifted with my mindset and healing, of course. But I feel really aligned. And as I was saying, I found it on New Year's Eve when I was doing my New Year's intentions at the end of 2024, and I read it again and I was like, oh my gosh, Alex is actually every single thing on this list. Every single one. And I've never had that before. So it was really amazing to reflect upon that and see the power of a dream relationship list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link my dream list video below for anybody who wants to do this and you want more information on how to do it, what it looks like, things to put on there. I've given you a few examples, but go check out that video if you want to do that practice. The next thing I did was actually new. So I didn't know about this back in 2016 when I was manifesting my first relationship. So this was definitely something new that is included in Hurt, Healing, Healed and my books Aligned Abundance. So when I was manifesting Alex, I was talking to my friend Caitlin, and at the time she said, Emma, have you thought about connecting to the core energy of the relationship that you want to manifest? We were both manifesting relationships at the time. I was feeling frustrated. I was like, oh, when's it gonna happen? And she said, have you tried connecting to the core energy of your desire? And that is all she said. She gave me no follow-up instructions, no resources, nowhere of where this information is. She was just like, yeah, go do it. So I thought, okay, right, I'm gonna tune in and connect to whatever Caitlin has just told me. So what I first of all is I envisioned the relationship that I wanted and what was in my dream list, and really connecting to those feelings and words, and then stripped away all the humanness, stripped away the person I was dating at the time, stripped away any expectations, and really just stripped everything back until I reached the core energy of my desire. And I saw this beautiful red energy and it just felt so homely, so amazing. And I was like, oh, that is it. That is the core energy of my desire. And it felt so good to connect to it that I turned it into a meditation, put it in my book. So I will link that meditation below. And I highly, highly recommend you doing this meditation, especially when manifesting love, because this, I felt, for me was so magnetic as a practice, but also really allowed me to surrender to the process and release expectations of who that looked like. You know, was it the person I was dating? And it actually really gave me clarity at the time of, yeah, it's not that person at all. Like when I look at that person's energy and this core energy of my desire, it is not that person. So it really gave me clarity on what I was doing at the time and, you know, creating the space ultimately for him to come into my life. So I did that meditation regularly. I just checked in with it, spoke to it, spent time with the core energy of my desire, and really got to know that energy well. And then when he did manifest into my life, I actually forgot about it for a while and then realized, oh my God, that is his energy. Like it was so clear that that was his energy. And I'd been sensing it for so many months before. And I really do feel that's what helped magnetize it into my life, because I was able to connect to it, spend time with it, get to know it, so that when it did come into my life, I knew that that was my desire. And I was also magnetizing that into my aura field and my, you know, reality as well. So if you are feeling frustrated with manifesting love, please go do that meditation. It will shift everything for you. And it just really helped me to be able to let go and surrender to the process of manifesting love and enjoy the process too. Now, of course, the next thing I did was take aligned action. I did sign up to dating apps as much as I didn't want to. They were not my chosen form of method of meeting people. But you know, in this day and age, it is obviously how a lot of people meet each other. So I was open to all possibilities. I wasn't being resistant to one thing. You know, back in 2016, I'd gone on like speed dating things, which was hilarious. I would never do that again. And I did loads of different things to put myself in the place of meeting people. You know, I was so awkward as well back then. So, you know, even having the confidence to speak to men was such a great thing by doing all these different things that I put myself in the field of opportunity and possibility to meet people, to meet great people, make connections, make friends, and obviously go dating as well. So obviously you are your best guru here and you know what feels aligned to you in terms of the actions that you want to take. But I definitely did not sit at home on my bum doing nothing. I got out there, put myself on dating apps, was open to all possibilities, and flowed with it. Sometimes I took myself off dating apps if it felt too overwhelming or it didn't feel good. You know, I would listen to my soul. I would listen to what felt in alignment and take those aligned actions based upon how I felt and what I intuitively felt as well. And it's ironic because the day that I met Alex, I actually had been off apps for a while and I just felt this urge to go on there. Not that I thought I was going to meet anybody. Actually, if anything, I really didn't think I was going to meet anybody at that time. But they always say it happens when you need it the least, and it always happens when you're least expecting. So for me, you know, I wasn't going on there with an expectation. I was just going on there. And, you know, it so happened to be that was the day that I met him. Another thing that I did that I would absolutely say is the gold dust to manifesting love is creating this space in your life for this person. Now, I don't mean, you know, 2 toothbrushes, clearing out, you know, your another side of the drawers for someone to live in your house or whatever. I did all of those things and I did that back in 2016 and I generally don't think it made any difference because I had quite a minimalist, you know, lifestyle anyway. So I did actually do all of that and it didn't really shift much for me. But what did shift for me was the emotional baggage, the emotional clutter in my life and really healing that. So this time what I did differently was I didn't necessarily create space, you know, in my drawers or in my wardrobe or things like that. But actually I created the space in my schedule because that's where I had the clutter. I was so busy with work, so busy distracting myself with work that I didn't actually have the space in my life to hold and sustain a relationship, to actually show up to that relationship and date someone. So the very thing that I wanted, I was keeping away from me because I didn't have that space in my life. So please, 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 if you are single and you're looking for love, create this space in your schedule. Schedule out time every single week for date nights with your friends, date nights with yourself, date nights with your dog if you want to. You know, I created that intentional space in my life for me, first of all. It wasn't like, you know, I was just sat there doing nothing. You know, in those times, I was having intentional time with myself, quality time with with myself, which was great self-love. I made time to see my friends more and go on experiences and enjoy life. And I really do feel, and I've seen this in my clients' life so much as well, when we do this, so much shifts. And again, I was also working on the emotional decluttering as well, around healing, around limiting beliefs, around trauma from the previous relationship and prior to that. So I'd done a lot of decluttering where I had the space in my life to hold and sustain that desire with ease. And my next step after that was to become my own soulmate. And if there was one tip I could give anybody who's hoping to manifest love into their life, is become your own soulmate first. That was the mistake that I made the first time round, thinking that a soulmate was external to me. Now, of course, we can have soulmates and we can have twin flames. We can have all different, connections in our life throughout our lifetime. But for me, I didn't realize that I was my own soulmate too. And the inner always reflects the outer. So what I did this time was I became my own soulmate. I became my own best friend. And I asked myself a really confronting question that I would love you to ask yourself as well. If you want to spend the rest of your life with someone else, do you want to spend the rest of your life with you first? And when I asked myself that, do I want to spend the rest of my life with myself first? My answer was actually no. I wasn't in a really great place mentally. And I was like, no. And that changed so much for me, because then I worked on my mindset. I worked on loving myself. I worked on cultivating joy in my life so that I did feel happy within myself, so that I did want to spend the rest of my life with myself first, because we are born into this life with ourselves and we'll exit this life with ourselves, not with anybody else. So, you are the longest relationship you will have in your life. So really making sure that is thriving and that is your soulmate relationship too will absolutely then reflect in your outer experiences by attracting your soulmate or a soulmate connection to you. Now, I do have videos around different dynamics of soulmates, twin flames, if you're interested in that and you're thinking like, what on earth is Emma on about? But we'll just use soulmate here as an example. So become your own soulmate, become your own best friend, and want to spend the rest of your life with yourself first to be able to manifest that love into your life that you want. Now, in this inner work piece, there was a really important thing that I did that I really think shifted everything for me and really quickly. When I was manifesting my previous relationship, as I said, there was a huge focus on manifesting the one, my husband, the person I'd marry. And I kept feeling like in my soul, this time around, I had to do it differently. Like that couldn't be the focus. And I really, was feeling, these natural feelings and emotions we all feel of like, what if I never meet somebody? What if I'm just not destined to meet anybody in this lifetime? What would happen? And I started to feel really low. I started to feel that lack and that kind of, space in my life where I wanted somebody. So one big shift that I made was to really confront that as well, that fear of, okay, if I'm feeling this lack, I know more lack is going to be attracted into my life, which is not the result that we want. So I got real open and honest with that fear and was like, I need to be open to all possibilities in order to manifest this into my life. I know I'm a manifestation expert. I know I have to be open to all possibilities, and being open to all possibilities means all possibilities, which ultimately means as well, there is a possibility I may not meet someone and may not get married and may not have that relationship in my life. And I have to be absolutely okay with that. Both outcomes, absolutely okay. And that took time, of course, but I leant into it and realized, you know what, I have amazing friends. I have an amazing career. I help people, manifest incredible things into their life. I've written, amazing books that I've wanted to, birth my whole life into this world. I have my own stable income. I have my own house. I have all these things. I have, so many blessings in my life that if I didn't meet somebody, I think I'd be actually fine. And I started to lean into that of like, yeah, okay, it might look a little bit different to what I envisioned, but I would be fine. I would still be happy. There would be still so many beautiful blessings and things to experience in life. And that would be a blessing too. That wouldn't be bad. So I really lent into that and became okay with that. And I really feel when that shifted in my energy and my mindset, I feel like the whole game changed. I feel like everything then became effortless. I got into alignment. I started enjoying life more. And I really didn't care at that point. They always say you manifest your desire when you need it the least. And I 100% embody and agree with that wholeheartedly. And it's the same with love. You hear the famous saying of it always happens when you're not looking. But that is because you've let go. That is because you're embracing the present moment. You're living in the present moment and you're no longer attached to the outcome. And I feel like that was such a game changer for me, where I was enjoying my life. I didn't care. And I actually wasn't even fussed about manifesting a relationship at that time. And you can guess what happened shortly after that. Yeah, it manifested. But now I want to talk more about tools and the inner work that I worked on. So those are the kind of practical things that I did. But I was also absolutely through this process doing the inner work, looking at my commitment issues, because again, I was attracting people who had commitment issues. And it was only when my therapist shone that mirror back on me and said, hang on a minute, Emma, aren't you the one with commitment issues? And I was like, what? No, like I'm the person who wants to manifest a husband. How can I have commitment issues? And as we dived into it and really uncovered that, I realized, oh yes, I am the one with the commitment issues. I'm running, I'm sabotaging. Right, okay, this now makes a lot of sense. And obviously, you know, that took time to work through, to clear. So I was absolutely doing the inner work so that I could show up as the best version of myself for that relationship, because that's what they deserve. I deserve them showing up as their best self, and they deserve me showing up as my best self. So inner work was absolutely something I was doing around blocks, beliefs, self-love, worthiness as well, raising my self-worth. So important. And I do feel all of that 100 million% contributed to me successfully manifesting, you know, the relationship I did want. But one thing I was absolutely doing was living my life to the fullest. I was not putting stuff off, and I was not in the mindset of, you know, oh, I can't wait for my life to get started. And I, you know, once he's here, you know, that's when life will start, or once he's here, I'll feel happy. Absolutely none of that. I was happy, thriving, living my life to the fullest, saying yes to everything, going on holidays with my friends. I was literally saying yes to life, and I feel absolutely 100% you cannot be in that mindset of, oh, my life's going to get started when I meet that person, or oh, my life will get good when I meet that person. Absolutely not. You have to be that embodiment of it now to manifest that into your life. So if you want to feel happiness, you have to be the embodiment of happiness to manifest happiness into your life. So as the famous saying goes, be the energy you want to attract. So I really became it. I became the happiest, most fulfilled version of myself to manifest that into my life. And I'm so glad I did, because then I wasn't looking back thinking like, oh, I wish I'd had more fun, or oh, I wish I'd, you know, not been so sad, or I wish I hadn't worried so much. You know, I really dropped all of that in that letting go process and just had a ball basically. And I really feel like that is what magnetized it to me, because naturally my energy was lifted, my vibration was high, and I was in the present moment living life. And an affirmation as well that I want to share with you, which was one of the, I worked with this affirmation the most out of everything, and the affirmation that I think really powerfully manifested him into my life. And ironically features in my manifesting rituals deck as well. I loved it so much when it channeled through me all those years ago that I was like, it has to go in my deck, because this was such a powerful one for me. And it is, I attract kind and nurturing love into my life. And this was such an expansive affirmation to work with, because I hadn't necessarily experienced that before. And what I truly deeply craved was kind and nurturing love. And I absolutely have that now. So use that mantra, use that affirmation, create one for yourself if you want to tweak the words to suit more of the relationship that you are wanting to attract into your life. But have fun with all of this. Manifesting love should be fun, remember. There's lots you'll learn from this experience as well. And remember, it will always manifest when you need it the least. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you've been taking notes and you are going to action these incredible tools that I've given you, because absolutely they have worked in my life time and time again. And I wanted to share them with you because of how powerfully they have worked in my life. But let me know in the comments which one you feel called to try first, and everything that I've mentioned, the core energy and the dream list, will be in the description below, so you can go and access them now. But thank you so much, gorgeous souls, for watching. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I reply to them all. And don't forget, you can also join my free Law of Attraction support group over on Facebook, where you can join myself and other like-minded souls, where we talk all things Law of Attraction and spirituality. I hope you have a fabulous Valentine's and a fabulous week, whatever you are up to. Remember, it's already yours, the love is already yours, and your desire wants you to, which ironically is my next video coming out. So stay tuned for that if you want more on that. But have a fabulous week, and I'll see you all in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love.